The restaurant was dimly lit, candles flickering on each table, the soft murmur of conversation blending with the clink of silverware. Emily and I sat across from each other, the tension in the air almost tangible. I had sensed something was off all week. Her distant looks, the sudden silences, the way she tapped her fork nervously, but I never imagined the words she would speak tonight. "I'm leaving you," she said suddenly, her voice soft but sharp, cutting through the hum of the restaurant like a blade. I froze, the glass in my hand trembling slightly as the words sank in. My mind raced, heart hammering. "Emily, what are you talking about?" I asked, keeping my voice calm, trying to mask the shock. She avoided my eyes, twisting her napkin between her fingers. "I can't do this anymore. I can't pretend. I've found someone else." Her admission was quiet but devastating, like a bomb that detonated in slow motion. Around us, diners continued eating, unaware of the life-altering confession taking place just a few feet away. Before I could respond, the restaurant doors swung open, and there he was, my best friend, James, the one I had confided in for years, the one who had always been like a brother to me. He froze for a second, scanning the room, before locking eyes with me. I rose, calmly, deliberately, as if the weight of the moment demanded it. Emily's fork clattered to the table. Her face went pale, eyes widening as she realized the man she had been seeing, or thought she had, was now standing in front of both of us. The smug confidence she had carried for days vanished in an instant, replaced by panic and shock. I didn't yell, I didn't scream, and I didn't demand answers. I simply gestured toward James. "Emily, I think someone here might want to say hello," I said, my voice measured, coldly calm. The room seemed to shrink around her, every patron oblivious to the storm at our table but adding to the suffocating weight of the moment. She stammered, words failing her. I didn't, this isn't." James stepped closer, his presence filling the space with a quiet intensity. "Emily, we need to talk," he said evenly, his tone devoid of mockery or anger, just the unmistakable calm of someone who had been blindsided but had his own dignity intact. I watched her shrink, the realization of her choices hitting her like a wave. The lies, the secret meetings, the plans she thought were hidden, all collapsing in front of her. I remained silent, letting the truth and the shock work its course. Sometimes, the best response isn't confrontation, it's letting reality speak louder than words. After what felt like an eternity, she finally whispered, almost to herself, I didn't know. I didn't interrupt. I didn't reassure. I didn't console. I simply looked at her, calm, composed, knowing that the power had shifted. She had intended to hurt me with her confession, but in the end, her own actions became her undoing. James and I shared a brief nod, a silent acknowledgement of the betrayal and the clarity that followed. And Emily, frozen, finally understood that she was no longer in control. She had thrown a dagger, only to have it boomerang back into her own chest. I stood, letting the tension hang like a storm cloud over the table, and said quietly, "Enjoy your dinner, Emily. I hope you figure out what's really important before it's too late." The rest of the night passed in silence. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't make a scene, but the message had been delivered with precision. Sometimes, the calmest actions hit hardest. And as we left, Emily trailing behind in stunned silence, I realized that heartbreak, betrayal, and revelation often work best not in anger, but in quiet, undeniable truth. By the time we stepped outside, the city lights reflecting off the rain-slick pavement, I knew the life we had shared had fractured beyond repair. But I also knew that my dignity, my calm, and my restraint had won the moment, and sometimes that is more powerful than revenge.